I'm Sleepy7, and before I go to bed, I just wanted to work on my game. You know, I have a couple different projects that I've just been kind of doing, but because I've been working so much, I just haven't been working on my games. And I realized, when I came home tonight, I realized, a good impetus to work on my game would just be to record myself working on it and, use that for my YouTube channel instead of, hold on. Instead of necessarily always just talking about whatever's around, I can just work on my game and, actually turn this into something a little more productive. So I'm thinking just maybe a couple nights a week, just work on my game, because I've really been neglecting this, and I really want to make something, but I just always am tired, always just don't have time. So I figured I'll do this for like an hour or something, and once that hour is up, save it, just go to bed. That's it. So here we go. So I guess I'll just show around what I've got so far. I literally made like a prototype for this in like a couple hours, and then I started working on like more and more of it and more of it, and like in a couple days I actually had something fairly decent looking. As you can tell, I'm using a little thing called Turbo Warp, which is a mod of Scratch, which is like a children's learning tool for programming. I know. It's a little funny. It's not real programming. It is actually a pretty decent code programming language, decent way for kids to learn how to program. But I'm only using this because this is literally the only thing I know. Like, you put me in front of like an actual coding language or anything like that, and even another block-based language, like game maker language or something, my brain just shuts off and I just can't do it. But I know Scratch. I can do Scratch. So, I may not have the best Scratch coding, practices or anything, but this is what I know. This is what I can do. So I guess to show off what I have so far. Let's see. Okay, it's full screen. Cool. Awesome. So you can see you are a little hair in space called Space Hare. Let me start this up again just to. So you aim your mouse around to aim. You shoot by clicking. All nice and simple. You move around WASD, and look at that. Little stuff. These walls were actually pretty complex to actually get working. It took me like a good afternoon to figure out how to actually make these walls generate properly, and now they do. You run in the wall, you see a little like space dust too, which is nice and fun, like that. Oh, and there's a little enemy guy right there. He's coming at me, so I have to aim and shoot at him. But he's a little hard to hit because he like moves in a sine wave fashion. And here's this like an item. So this is like the only item I programmed so far, and I just wanted to like have an item just to make an item system, and it's a little shotgun, so it turns your shot into a little shotgun blast. There's another little enemy right there. He bounces off of walls. There's another enemy. He like goes on a predetermined path and just aims and shoots at you, so you gotta dodge him. You shoot him, bam, he's dead. That guy. And yes, enemies do have invincibility frames. Nope, there's another eyeball. So this is Space Hare. You're a hare in space, and you shoot things. Oh, ow! You shoot things. Oh yeah, it's one of my little things I like a lot. Every time you get hit, it just says "ow," and it like shoots out the onomatopoeia or whatever. If you right click, you shoot a bomb. Pow. Then boom. That's awesome. And these asteroids, you can actually destroy them with a bomb. It's cool. So yeah. Bombs basically insta-kill most enemies, but they're kind of hard to pull off just because there is that delay, and like a lot of the enemies just move around either erratically or, you know, in a predetermined pattern. So you know, or at you, so they're a little hard to get down. Yeah, check this out too. You see that giant asteroid? You know, you can actually destroy that with a bomb, but it makes more asteroids. Yeah, this might not be the best frames per, you know, FPS or anything like that, but that's just because I'm recording this at the same time, and it does take a lot to. Yeah, this is just a little laptop, you know. This is all I got. I don't have anything more powerful than this laptop. This laptop is like almost a decade old at this point, I believe. So, you know. Oh, this red. This red is just kind of like a testing thing, just so I know that I'm approaching the boss arena, which here he is, the boss. See, the boss is pretty cool. I'm kind of proud of this, is that he like has kind of like a gravitational field, and he can pull in other asteroids to use as like shields. He just kind of floats around and tries to shoot at you, while also collecting a bunch of asteroids to like block you. Oh yeah, and here's a cool thing. If you shoot a bomb at him, his weakness is bombs. You can kill him in like 2 bombs. Otherwise, you just shoot him, and you know, you can eventually kill him just by shooting him. I think it takes like 10 shots at base damage to kill him or something like that. But it takes 2 bombs to kill him. But yeah, that's kind of all I got so far, and so I just wanted to take some time and actually work on this dang thing. You know, I've made a lot of good progress on it, and I just never did anything more than that. So here we go. Yeah, so where am I at? So you can kill the boss. The boss is mostly designed, you can kill him. So I want to like make an ability to go to another level. So each level is, you know, randomly generated. That's what like the loading time is at the beginning. It takes a good like couple seconds to load, but here's a cool thing. It actually, so this is kind of silly, but Scratch runs at 30 frames per second natively, but I've set it in Turbo Warp to run at 60 frames per second. So this game runs at 60 frames per second. But, you know, every single like line of code runs, you know, on the tick, right? Which is like every frame, right? So what you can do is actually unlock the frame cap and just have it run at like as many frames as your computer can possibly handle at once. And that'll also run all the code that quickly. So to load the game faster, what I do is just I uncap the frame rate temporarily while it's loading, and then when it's done loading, it just caps the frame rate again. So it loads faster than it would otherwise, because loading the game normally is like it takes several seconds to load the game. So with uncapping the frame rate, it takes like maybe 1 second or 2 seconds, because the way I have each level load is a little silly. So I have like actual sprites, right? That kind of just like start in the middle at 0, 0, and it just kind of like branches out randomly to different points that are connecting, and then it just like places a little copy of itself, and then it records the X and Y coordinate of each copy and adds them to like basically an array. And then after that, the rooms generate based on their X and Y coordinates at like a corresponding X and Y coordinate for whatever the room size is. And then after that, you know, it then has to generate all the walls and stuff. It's just like a whole thing, and it's I just find it kind of silly. But yeah, Anyway, so I want to make a do thing where I want to like make like a portal to a new level. So, uh, I'm just gonna make a portal sprite here real quick. I don't know. I kind of forget. It's been so long since I've worked on this. I kind of forget what scale I'm really working at. So I'm gonna have to blast open this thing. Look at like space hair right here. It's about like 64 by 64-ish. Okay. So I'm gonna just make a little portal sprite. I'm not gonna show myself to make the portal sprite because when I save it and export it, it's gonna show my like a whole file path and stuff. Like you don't need to know that. Oh, where did I put my pen? There it is. Let me grab my. Oh, there it is. Okay, I didn't need to go. There we go. Gotta grab my glove, my drawing glove, so I don't get my screen all greasy with my hand grease. And yeah, and it's not the most creative game. Like, it's quite literally just like, Isaac or whatever top-down roguelite you want to point out or whatever. But it is my game, and there are many like it, but this one is mine. This is mostly just an exercise in trying to actually make something. Because, I don't know, I guess like I've always started projects, but I've just never finished anything. Which, I'm sure that's a feeling that a lot of people can relate to. But I just, want to finish something. That's the hardest part of a project, is just finishing. Good enough. And a little extra finishing touches here. And there we go. That's probably good. Export. And so the cool thing about Turbo Warp is that unlike Scratch, it has a lot fewer limitations in terms of just everything. So, you can make your screen resolution whatever you want. You can like make your frames per second whatever you want. You can make your like your whatever, like what am I trying to say, like your clone limit whatever you want, and you're just not limited in the way Scratch limits you. And there's also a bunch of cool extensions that are not compatible with like stock Scratch that people make, like people in the community make. And those help a lot with development, because now I don't have to like build my own like physics engine or something like that. I could just use the community made one, and it's pretty decent. Like I would like for example, the asteroid boss I probably would not have been able to make without that physics engine, because like hit detection in Scratch is really funky, and it's possible you can do it, but it's hard. And I just wanted to and like it was just so difficult to do it from scratch, right? But there was like the physics, the community made physics engine by Griff Patch, and I was like, okay, well then I'll just I'll just use that. And I learned it, figured it out, and I was like, okay, we're good. plan to maybe release this cheap or free, probably, because I don't know. It's not like, I mean, I want to do this, but like it's not like, oh, this is like my like the game. It's just a game, right? Okay, so here's a cool thing that you're not gonna see. So now what I do is I just draw a second frame of animation right on top of it, so it could like jiggle slightly. You may think like, oh, it's like Pizza Tower. Well, I mean, it's like Pizza Tower, but I was doing this before Pizza Tower existed. Like, not that this is like a particularly unique thing, like Ed and Eddie did it, but this has just kind of been my style for a pretty long while. And then Pizza Tower came out, and I was like, oh yeah, oh yeah. And I love Pizza Tower a lot, actually. Like, that's like, if I were just better at making stuff, games and all that, I can see myself like a world where like, yeah, I could have made Pizza Tower if I were just like, better at this shit, but I'm not. So I didn't make Pizza Tower. And because of that, I love Pizza Tower. I love playing it. I love it. Well, I mean, not because I didn't make it, but just because it's something that feels like I would have made it. So yeah, Pizza Tower, man, good game. If you haven't played it, play it. Especially if you like Wario Land. I think they did the Wario Land thing better, better than Wario, which is pretty big to say because I am a big Wario fan. Wario is my favorite Nintendo character, or at least my favorite Mario character. Favorite Nintendo character, probably too. I like Wario Land. I've only played really Wario Land 4 and Wario Land Shake It, but I love WarioWare especially. WarioWare is like my favoriteest. So, I mean, this isn't like I've made games before. It's not like I haven't made a game before. So, I've released Jumpy, which was kind of shitty because it was made in like OG Scratch, without any of the enhancements or improvements from, Turbo Warp. So, I was kind of limited by what I could do. Especially because it was made at a time where I just didn't know how to code things very well. I actually started working on a remake of Jumpy in Turbo Warp, and it's actually pretty decent, but it was also filled with a bunch of kind of like bad practice coding stuff that it kind of needs a fundamental rewrite, which is kind of daunting because it's like, oh man, I gotta redo all this. And it's like, ugh. So I've kind of like pushed it off. It does have Isaac in it, Binding of Isaac, like genuine, actual Isaac, blessed by Edmund himself. Little known fact about me is that I am actually the editor for Mugenics and could not say it. That's weird. And I'm also an editor and designer for the Binding of Isaac Four Souls, which is the the card game based on Isaac, and I'm at it's cool. It's like a dream job for me because I've grew up playing Edmund games. Like I was a huge Edmund fan, and then you gotta work on the thing. The thing. It's just so fun. It's so awesome, and through that I was able to get Isaac in my Jumpy game that I need to redo basically from scratch, but I just haven't done it because it's like, but, you know. Okay, so as you can see here, that's my portal. So what I do is everything I set to size 50% because Scratch does this weird thing where like all sprites are like double sized. I don't know why, but it just is. So what I do here is what I want this to animate basically exactly the same as one of these like puffy things. And so I just do that. I don't know why I did that. Took that out. Bam. When I start as a clone, do that. And you should be able to see it do the thing. Why is it not animating? Hold on. That's weird. Okay. Oh, I know why it's not animating. It's because the stretch isn't actually changing. So, let's go back here. There's another line of code that I need to steal, which is this. Line of code. I mean, each of these are multiple lines. So, block, thing of code. There we go. See, now it's animating. I just wanted to jiggle like that, right? And then there's also another piece of code that I need to steal. I'll just bam when I receive tick puff. Just the costumes. There it is. So there we go. Let's change that to hide and flux. So what I want to do is what I want to do is I want when the boss dies, basically. This guy's name is Craterface. That's the boss. When he dies, I want him to spawn a portal. So I gotta find where I put the code for his HP. Here it is, I think. HP. Hold on. Actually, I want to know how many hits it takes to kill him. Because your attack starts at 5. He has 80 HP, which is subject to change because I haven't really balanced it yet. So 80, so 5 times, that would be 16 hits. He takes 16 hits to kill. Unless you use a bomb, in which he'll take only attack times 4. So 20. So he'd take 4 hits from a bomb. Yeah, okay. So that's it, huh? Okay. So I was a little wrong there. A lot wrong. But yeah, where the hell is the code for when he dies, dude? It's somewhere, man. It's somewhere. Oh, there it is. I don't know why. So when I receive So here's something I gotta do. I gotta make like two variables, a boss die x and boss die y. See, this is because clones are kind of funky, and how you can't really tell a sprite to just go to a clone's x and y position like natively, essentially. So what you do is you make a variable that the clone, when it dies, or when you need its x and y, you just make a global variable that whoops, no, I don't want those. You just make a global variable that it sets its own personal x and y position to, or you make two variables, that is. And I'm sure there's a different way to do it, but this is just how I do it. And then it just goes to that variable instead of just going to the clone's x and y, because it can't do that. Like, you get the x and y position and just go to that of like the original sprite, but you can't do it for any clones of that sprite. It's a whole ordeal. But yeah, this is just what I've figured out how to do, and that's what I do. So if this is working, oh whoops. So if this works properly, so I want to I'm probably gonna have to do this, separate them, and just make boss crater die and boss die one just for a generic boss die, because hold on. Yeah, okay. Just because, like, if I don't separate them, there you go. If I don't separate them, it'll just be kind of probably a pain in the ass later. So create clone of myself. Let's see if it saves the project also. I'm just gonna, yeah, okay, it says it's saved, so I'm gonna assume that it did save. Hey, look at that guy. He just like kind of flies around erratically, and then he shoots 2 bullets at you. Something fun about Scratch is that you have to code all of the animation too. Like, you can't just like have it like, oh, play an animation file or something like some other engines or whatever. You have to actually code all of the animation, which is, fun. Oh. Yeah, these guys are a little bit of a pain, but they die in one hit. They die pretty easily. So here's something fun fact about this game. Originally, this game had tank controls, which I was like, oh, let's do tank controls. I don't think games don't do that much anymore, and it might be an interesting challenge to like control yourself like that. And then for a while, you just control it like that, and then I just when eventually I was just like, okay, so like, what if I just tried this with more traditional controls? How would it feel? And turns out it felt way better to just control it normally. So I was like, yeah, okay, this is this is what's gonna happen here. But yeah, oh yeah, look at that background. Look at all the stars. Look at them go. They change colors. It's awesome. Here's the boss. So it takes a couple bombs to kill. Yeah, so he does try to fly away from you too. So there is that. Like if you're too far from him, he will fly towards you. But if you're too close to him, he'll fly away from you. Oh, and he does pick up that big ass asteroids too, which makes using bombs like, but it can be dangerous because like, whoa, look at that. Bombs are planned to be like a limited resource eventually, but just like for now, like you get infinite bombs. Lives HP is also infinite right now. There we go. He does spawn the portal now. Yeah, look at it go. Look at it go. The portal doesn't, you can't interact with it or anything yet, but it does exist, which is pretty cool. Alright. 12. How long? Okay. Half an hour left. And so, of course. That's annoying. Okay, so now that I have that going, yeah. So this is what's happening. So now we got the portal going. Now I just need to make a system for levels, I guess, because I don't actually have a system going for levels. So now I gotta make an entirely new system. That's gonna be fun. So what we do is I think we want level and we want world. That's the two variables we want. So we want you to be able to be in like, I don't know, like world 1, which is just like space or something. And then you could have multiple different levels of course. I don't know why it saved once, but never is just, oh, now it saves. Okay. Whoa. But yeah, if you want to have multiple different levels, but in multiple different worlds, so like say you go, oh, you're in space level 1, and then you go to, oh, you're in world space level 2 or whatever. So yeah, so we're gonna set the background. We want the background to be I don't know. Okay, the background, how does that work? How are we doing this? Okay, well, hold on. Okay, now I know how this is working. So this is the background. Like the backdrop here doesn't matter. This, though, is what matters. So this is what determines what level you're in. So well, I mean, it's not what it determines what level you're in. This determines what the level background looks like. So I want it to backdrop. Let's set the backdrop to this one's just gonna be space 1 because there might be different space levels. I don't know yet. So I'm gonna like say I'm not sure why there's one of these and one of these, one of these and one of these. Oh wait, I think I know why. So hold on. Can I like change the color of this thing? Okay, I can't. Okay. So I know what's going on. So what happened here is that Scratch is a little funny in how it sort of does this thing, and if you just have it like this, it will sort of, you'll see like sort of cracks between where like the thing repeats. So instead of doing that, whoops, hold on. So instead of doing that, I'm just gonna so that's space 1, but I'm just gonna keep these around just so I have them as reference. But this is space 1. Space 1. Ref. I'm just gonna keep these around for now just so I have a reference. So this is real space 1. So if you have them go a little past the edges, it's not actually, you won't see the cracks. So I want this to be space 2. So what I do is convert this to vector, and then I just like make the size ever so slightly bigger. And put it in the middle, and that will work probably. You know, instead of calling it space 1, I'm just going to call it 1, 2. So each of these names are going to correspond to the world number. So we're in world 1 right now, so it'll just say like, oh, I don't know, like switch backdrop to variables. Huh. I wonder why there's 2 world. Hold on. Okay, I know what's going on now. I didn't need to make a world variable because I already had one. See? Because I know why I have that. It's because I used them to make the walls. The walls are... I already, you know, I already made them for the walls. So I'm just going to change this to like... Switch backdrop to world. Okay, whatever, good. And so now it's world. Let's see if it changes the back. Let's I don't know. Let's switch it to 2. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's a problem. This will do it, though. I know for sure this will do it. Hold up, something ain't doing it. Okay, so we have world. It's fun. What's happening here? Oh, okay, okay, suddenly it works. I don't know why it just decided to suddenly work, but hey, I'm taking it. So now let me check something. Okay. That's a problem. Okay. Something's telling me is that somehow I may have fixed the issue where there are cracks in the walls. So I'm just gonna do it like this and hope and pray that it's working. Okay, so it is working. It is working. I don't know why. I know why. Okay. There we go. For some reason, it was making an extra clone. Or was it? Hold on. Because that's what it looks like. What's going on? Because if you look at that, okay. I'm not exact. This wasn't a problem before. What the heck is going on? Okay. I didn't change anything, so I wouldn't know why. I did change one thing by making it change the backdrop. For some reason, what is happening? Okay. Let's just change it to a vector and see if anything changes. Hide this real quick. I think I know what's happening. Okay, so what's happening is for some reason the backdrop is changing. And okay. I'm just stupid, that's why. because it's okay. So what's happening is that I was switching the backdrop and not the costume. I don't know why that even exists. There we go. Because the backdrop is supposed to be just get rid of these. You don't need those. Backdrop is supposed to be just completely clear, translucent, water or transparent, nothing. Because just the way camera control works is kind of fucked up. So there we go. Perfectly fixed. Awesome. Perfect. Nothing. Okay, so we have that going. So I think what we want is, at first, I'll just like when Miss died, when you touch Miss died as a clone. So I want to go here. Oops, I don't want to switch costumes or anything. I think what I want to do is set your opacity to set color, set ghost effect to like 50% or something, and then you just wait. I like to use the repeat block instead of wait, or at least I'm trying to get myself to do that, because wait is just using the repeat block is more granular, I guess, because then you could like, if you want to add like a pause option, you could just like slap a pause function into like the repeat. But if it's like a wait, you can't slap the pause function into the wait. So, but they're otherwise functionally similar. So repeat until not touching. Player. And then if touching player, whoops. Rolled by 1, and then looks. Delete this clone. I'll just do that for now because I'm probably gonna have to just make a warp cutscene somehow or something. Add some sort of like way to like obfuscate the load time of having to generate a new map. So I guess like there's like a contingent of people out there that are like, man, I miss Flash. There's nothing like it. Nothing like Flash anymore. You can't just like prototype something real quick. Well, I think that Scratch is about as close as you're gonna get to Flash in the modern age, because it's not as the way Flash was, I guess, but it is pretty damn robust, especially if you use Turbo Warp, and you can kind of make something with like the Flash soul. You are missing like the Flash like paintbrush tool and all that, but you can just like make the sprites outside of Scratch. Like I make all my sprites in Ace, like Ace Sprite or whatever, however you fucking say it. You could probably make all your sprites in like Adobe Illustrator or something, and then import them into Scratch, because you know if you could save them as an SFG or SVG, Scratch does use vector files like that, so you know, perfectly cromulent, perfectly fine. I did that too. Like I know I've probably shown it off already, but like there's a little bit of screen shake, and it says bonk if you run into an asteroid. I just thought that was a cute thing to add. And it plays a little squeaky toy sound too. Yeah, just trying to. Here we go. And I have to like bait it into like staying in one spot or like moving into the bomb, like that. Okay, so it does hide and the world is 2. So, but nothing changes because, you know, obviously, like, you know, it only sets the costume and stuff at world generation. So, you know, let's do it. Let's, okay, so now I just have to, okay. I know what I have to do. So, okay, what I'm going to have to do is going to need to like broadcast fade out. So I want to kind of do the opposite of that. So what I'm going to do is 8400. So when I receive fade out, $8,400 is custom. Oops. So that works. Okay. So, okay, awesome. Okay, so, why did it? Oh, hold up. Here's the. Oh, I know what's wrong. It's because I need to set the world to 1. That's awesome, dude. Okay, so Okay, everything's working as it should now. I just have to like hyper vigilantly save it. Okay, now I just have to find the boss and kill it, and we'll be on our merry way. I know what's wrong. It's because it's not. I don't know what's wrong. Hold on. Oh, I know what's wrong. I do know what's wrong now. It's because I need to switch the costume to this first. I don't really like using the wait function anymore either. So repeat functions work on frames. So if you say put like 60 frames, that waits a whole second. 30, it means it will wait half a frame. Okay, I don't know what's happening. Hold on. I know what's happening. Has to go to I know exactly what's happening now. So it needs to go to the X and Y position of Space Hare, because it's not doing that. It's going to like the X, 0, 0. So it just makes the animation look all weird. There we go. See, there we go. Now the animation looks. It's because when I tested the animation, it was only I only tested it at 0, 0, so it looked perfectly fine. But since it's no longer at 0, 0, it needs to like, it just needs to be the way it is. So you can kill a whole cloud of eyeballs with just the bomb. But you have to like time it just right. It's probably more effective to just kill him with a bullet. But it is one bomb versus multiple bullets, so I guess there's that. Awesome. Okay, now I just gotta. Now I just gotta make it load again. But it's been about an hour, so I think that's all I'm gonna do for tonight. Yeah, I didn't do much, but it's more than I would have done otherwise. So I'm glad. And that's the cool thing, is that it's all about incremental work. Even if it may not seem like a lot, you're at least still doing it. So yeah, I'm going to bed.